Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photo chats. So, I had a meeting of photographers yesterday in Boulder. I have a group called Beers and Cameras Boulder, and we've been meeting for 5 or 6 years, 7 years. And we got together, talk photography, show some work, and I mentioned that I'm into typewriters. And I know my friend Mike, who comes to the event, he always talks about he has a collection of typewriters too. And there was a new person there, and he said, "Oh, I'm into typewriters too. I have two of them." And I'm like, "Oh, you're just getting started, obviously," because I probably have 8 or 10, and Mike has probably 8 or 10. And mechanical manual typewriters, there's just something wonderful about the ability to take a object into a park and write with no distractions, no email, no electricity, no chance of it running out of power, and no distractions. I use it a lot for writing notes to people and for first drafts of stories. But there's something about physical things. This is a pocket watch that I picked up at a local antique watch and clock show just this past weekend. And he said it's probably from the late 1800s, early 1900s. It was all of $20. And I'm interested in objects that are built in a way that are mechanical and last. So it's a wind-up watch. It's all just springs inside. And it's just a fascinating tool to be able to tell the time. And if I want to pull out a clock without having to pull out my phone, assuming I'm not wearing a watch, I would love to be able to pull this out instead of pulling out my phone and then not have to use my phone for one more thing. Because I don't really like the fact that we're so tied to our phones, and I don't like that I'm so tied to my phone. So this becomes a nice alternative. And again, I'm drawn to physical things. I'm drawn to things that are handmade or made with some precision. Those typewriters, this watch. I think that there is, for whatever reason, I'm drawn to mechanical cameras because I like the idea that they were made and they still work. I like prints. This is a print of my friend Steph, who rides a Triumph motorcycle, and she came over to visit, and I took her photograph with a Rolla Tri-X or HP5, and then I printed it. And I'm going to give it to her. And when she's 85, she's going to have a photograph in her home of her on her motorcycle, her Triumph. And maybe she'll still be riding it, and I hope so. But it's physical. I get to make things that exist. I don't get satisfaction out of making images to send to somebody on their screen, and they're going to look at it for a second, and then it's never going to be seen again. And I guess it's like time and the timepiece and the writing and making a physical print of a printout of words that I created. Even if it's just a first draft and later I do transfer it over into a computer, it exists as a first draft. And I get to see how I came up with the ideas I came up with in physical form. So I'm very drawn to making those kinds of photographs that I can make prints of and I can deliver to people. I can handprint in my darkroom. I can make something that is tangible, real. And I think that the kinds of people who are film photographers tend to have a little bit more of that because it's a fast-paced world, and the digital world is all about, look at it, is it good enough? It's only 4 inches, it's clear enough, you can see what it is. It doesn't matter. And the idea of making photographs and making prints, that seems so antiquated, but it's not. To me, it's the only way that any of my photos are going to last, is if I make a print and I gift it to somebody, or I make a print and I hang it in my home and put it in a gallery show and keep it framed for other uses like other shows. Because if I'm making these photographs, I'm not just making them for a one-time view at a single gallery. I'm making these photographs to last. And time will make them more valuable. Everything comes down to time makes photographs valuable. And so This photograph will be valuable now because she really likes the photograph, but it'll be more valuable in 20 years. Everything gets more valuable with age. And that's one of those things that I am very drawn to. I probably could get into fountain pens because I like the idea of writing with something that is that strong and elegant of a tool, but I haven't yet. I've heard you can get really way into fountain pens, which I have not done at all. But I am a fan of mechanical things. I like a Leica camera. I like a typewriter, just small little manual typewriter, no electricity, not big and heavy. And I like timepieces. I like things that work without need for batteries so that we have, I don't know, some design and something special about the fact that it's actually made by humans and it's not just another digital something. It's not just another tech that's going to spy on me. I was house sitting for a friend and I had to be up one morning for a photo shoot for a local photo assignment. They needed a photo of a building at sunrise and they wanted an incredible sky. So it was the middle of summer back in June. I went there at like 4:30 in the morning and I got there about 10 minutes till 5 and the sky was done. I was too late. So I went back the next day and I got there at 4:20 and it was perfect. And my friend said, hey, we were in Hawaii, that's where he was visiting while I was house sitting his house. And I noticed that the garage door opened a couple days at 4:30. And I'm like, really? Your garage door is talking to you while you're on your vacation? That's the beauty of that watch. It's not talking to anyone. Neither is that typewriter, that Leica, or that photograph. They're just doing one thing well. That's what I'm a real big fan of. Anyway, that's my chat about all things physical, mechanical, tangible. Hey, if you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.